Animals are drawn to her.
Oh.
So she'd be like, you will love me.
And then, if she was here, all we'd hear is bark, 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 and her talk, 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 bark, bark, bark.
Yep, 100%. This would not be a you and me conversation.
No, we'd be like, guys, we're trying to record a podcast.
Take it outside. Be quiet.
Yeah, go run in the grass.
She's like, okay. Just
don't bring him back until we're done.
Right. Good and tired. Wear him out.
And yourself.
Yes.
Hello, and welcome to the Essence of You podcast. I am your host, Steph Lokelani, and I am here today with my really good friend, Mallory Wirz. And Mallory is a computer teacher. Mm-hmm. Can I say elementary school computer teacher?
Yes.
Which I think is absolutely amazing that you're teaching kids how to use computers. Mm-hmm. Awesome. It's a necessary skill.
Yes.
We're similar in age. When I was in school, it was typewriting.
Right.
No, we had computers because I also grew up using them to do the Oregon Trail.
Right.
Do you still teach them the Oregon Trail?
No.
Oh, that's too bad.
I know.
Well, I think you should bring it back.
Yeah. Bring it on back.
Children, today we're going to learn about the Oregon Trail.
In this pixelated version.
Oh my gosh, I would love that. If you do that, can I come in as a guest?
Absolutely.
Okay. I won't need to be a guest. Well, I could be like a guest assistant.
Oh, you could.
That would be so fun.
Helping people pick oxen or mules or whatever.
Don't die. Oh! Okay, sorry, kids.
Yes, I failed you. I'm sorry. And then you explain to him that adults make mistakes too.
Adults make a lot of mistakes. Mm-hmm. Yes, we do. And you are also in yoga teacher training.
Yes.
We'll get to that in a second because what I like to do is introduce you as how we met.
Okay.
So Mallory and I met in a women's retreat at the Vault. Mm-hmm. And it was a year-long program, and everyone in the group decided to stay for 2 years. So we were in this program for 2 years and really, really got to know each other through that program.
Yes.
We would meet once a month, and it was it once a month or every few? There were some times where we didn't meet on a month.
Yeah. Might have been every other month, maybe?
Might have been. And it was a weekend. It was 3 hours on a Saturday, 3 hours on a Sunday. And it was therapy. It was group therapy. And we really got to dive into our lives and what might have been hurting in the moment, what may have hurt us in the past that got us to that moment. Mm-hmm. We talked about a lot of different traumas that we've all experienced. And through that, Mallory and I learned that we are exact mirrors of each other. Mm-hmm. We grew up in a very, very similar manner. Same amount of siblings, oldest of the four, and having to raise those siblings. And so, we learned a lot through our time together and got really close.
Absolutely.
And now we're in yoga teacher training together. Yes. And we made that decision outside of each other.
Yes. Completely different times.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. So what made you decide to do yoga teacher? Actually, no, let's go back even further. What made you decide to do the women's retreat?
I was doing therapy for many years and then hit a point in my healing where I was ready to grow more, go into different avenues of healing. And the year before I signed up, it had come up on the Vault's website, and I was like, oh, maybe I was kind of nervous about it. It didn't sit right. And then the next year I was just like, I have to do this. I always felt really pulled to do it. Mm-hmm. And so I took a leap and jumped in. And those first few meetings, very nervous. I was not as open. I was not as disclosing of my rawness, I guess. And then it just was meant to be. And we went another year, and I wouldn't take it either year back for anything, because I grew in so many different ways, and we grew as a group together in so many different ways.
We did, and we got to watch each other through that growth and kind of live it with each person, because we all had our own things that had happened during that time. Mm-hmm.
And it like was similar in different aspects. Like you and I were undeniably a mirror of each other, but there was still things that I feel related to the other people in the group. Maybe not as deeply, but there was absolutely oh, that happened to me. Oh, that was very similar. I can relate to this in this way kind of thing. So
yeah, exactly. Like anything for me, especially around anything to do with divorce.
Yeah.
I could really identify with what anybody may have been talking about.
Mm-hmm. And then I could identify as a child of divorce.
That's right.
So me not being through divorce myself, but I could identify in a different aspect. So that's where we could kind of identify in different ways.
Yeah. And that's also kind of a part of our mirror because my parents are still married. So I'm not a child of divorce, but I've been through divorce myself. And so we've experienced it in different manners. Yeah.
Very traumatic on both sides.
Oh, very traumatic. But we made it.
We did
Look
make
at
it.
us.
And we're here and we're able to laugh and giggle about it. And find some joy in that craziness.
Yeah, I agree. And when I look at you now that I know your story, it makes me feel, I don't want this to come off as just rude or anything, but it makes me feel better about mine. Because it's like, oh, someone else knows what I'm talking about. Someone else gets it. Because not everybody gets what each of us have been through. No matter how much you try to explain it or not explain it, or you just hold it secretly or something. But when you can find someone that, when you say this happened to me, and someone else can be like, yeah, actually that happened to me too. And I can feel that from you.
Yep. And a whole different, in like different aspects too. Like there's just so many like ways to connect, even if it isn't like a direct connection. Yeah,
exactly. And that group brought us so close.
So close.
And then Jamie decided to offer yoga teacher training, which I'm so proud of her for doing. And she's an amazing teacher.
Absolutely.
What made you decide to do yoga teacher training?
The philosophies behind yoga really fascinate me. Probably because of my healing journey. Not so much the poses. The poses get me hung up. I will get them one day, but the philosophy of it, and then how she's partnering with the not-for-profit Girls on the Mat, that was really my drive, is to work with those young girls.
And I'll have Jamie in a future podcast. We're recording, I think, at the end of this month, so she can speak more to Girls on the Mat. But tell us a little bit about that and what drew you to Girls on the Mat.
With all of the things that I have gone through in my life, and then being able to come out on the other side in a gentle, loving way that I have, because of the stuff that I've gone through, like it could have been 100%. I could be a totally different person than you and I would never have met.
Yeah.
But I didn't let that side of me win, or what could have won. So being able to help other young girls see that, yes, you're going through something super terrible, and I hate all of that for you. I went through something similar, and being able to relate to the girls and give them something like almost that mirror effect for them of like, oh, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Whereas like kind of like what you said earlier, having that connection of like, you know what happened to me and what that feels like inside my body, and you have made something beautiful of yourself. I want to kind of be that inspiration for young girls.
I love that. Yeah. And it was you kind of who got me to do Girls on the Mat. And now I'm going to be studying that as well. And it was because I was waffling back and forth. I don't have children.
Right.
But I'm involved in children's stuff a lot. I'm the board president of Treasure Valley Children's Theater.
Right.
And there's a lot of kids that I get to see. And I texted you because my hand was hovering. I was like, oh, God, should I do this? And I said, Mallory, should I do Girls on the Mat? And you said yes, because you can take this places. it made me think about how, like, I could take it to the Philippines if I want to.
Yeah.
I could take it back to Hawaii if I wanted to.
Yeah. Can you imagine what you could do in Hawaii?
Oh my goodness.
Oh my
for those
gosh.
kids.
Even in the Philippines.
Yeah.
I mean, they're happy where they're at
Mhm.
and because they don't know any other difference, but giving them like, hey, it could be better.
Yeah.
Look at what could be. And that hope, I think hope is really a huge driving factor for kids. And love.
Absolutely. Because what any of these kids could be going through right now, it's going to get better.
Yes.
And changing your mindset about that now doesn't put you in your 30s and 40s trying to get through this healing and hoping that you're going to come out of this.
Right.
Being able to know how to heal yourself at such a young age, I think it's gonna change the world.
Yeah. When your brain is like trying to learn and develop and it has that like natural sponge effect, and then you're adding more and more tools to what they can do and how to handle things, then their emotions aren't always going to be so dramatic for in their teenage years or young adulthood. They won't be swayed one way or another. They'll have that guiding hope and love to be like, oh, I do see those feelings. I do feel those feelings. That's okay, but I don't have to react in that way.
Yes. Yeah. I know how to kind of hold that back.
Yes.
When we as adults may still sometimes react very loudly and boisterously, and we don't need to.
Right. Some thoughts are meant to be inside your head and not come out. Yes. They don't always have to be outside thoughts.
No, they don't.
No.
And so to learn that early, oh my goodness. Well, we wouldn't be who we are today.
Right.
Gotta say that.
Yes.
And I love who we are today. And you're right. Like, had you gone a different route and had I gone a different route, we wouldn't have been in that same room together to even meet each other.
I don't even think healing would have happened
to
get me to that point. Yeah, like I've always reflected, like once I started realizing I could change who I am and my trajectory in life wasn't set for the path that was laid out for me. I could choose my own path. Reflecting back on where I came from has always been a good mirrored reflection for myself of like, I could have been a terrible human with no love, no compassion, probably wouldn't have my kids or my husband and the life I have now. I wouldn't be working in education for sure. And then looking at where I am and who I am and how other kids can respond to me. And even my kids and their friends are like, oh, wow, this is what it's like. Yes. So it's like it's a good, like, could have been this way, but it really is meant to be this way.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I wouldn't change it for anything.
I love that.
Yeah.
And how you have kids today, you have 3 children.
Yes.
How, and you can tell me to not ask this question, how are you raising your kids differently than how you grew up?
Oh, good question. It's probably like going to go down as like one of my like biggest successes is how different I'm raising my kids from how I was raised, which was similar to how my parents were raised. Once I started my healing journey, I was like, I am absolutely breaking all of these chains of repetition and hurtful behaviors and stuff. So how I raise my kids is they're allowed to have a voice. They're allowed to be seen and heard. Doesn't mean they're going to be validated and we're going to honor everything that they're saying. But they have a choice. They have a voice. And I want them to know that they can stand up for themselves. They may not get the resolution that they want or solution that they want, but they absolutely have been heard. It has been noted. We talk about it. We have conversations. Like my kids can come up and say anything to me. My oldest came down and made the argument that it was clear that we have never raised teenagers before. And I'm like, you are my oldest. This is a very good observation, and He was wanting a later bedtime is what it was. So, but for him to like come down and be like, it's clear that you have never done this before. Like, I would have never felt free to say that to my parents. And I'm sure neither for you.
No, I still couldn't.
Right. You're like, I'm an adult.
I'm 46.
Right. It's hard, but having them feel so safe and comfortable in our house to come, and even with a high teenage energy about them, an attitude about them, to come down and say that and then be like, okay, cool. You have a thought. Let's hear it. Where are you going with this thought? Oh, I see where you want to go. You're right. Let's try to accommodate that. But he also wanted to stay up until 2:00 on a school night. I was like, in the morning, I was like, that's not happening. So,
no. There are some rules still.
Yes. So we heard his thoughts and opinions about it, and he felt like he was heard, seen, and validated, and understood why we weren't going to allow 2 a.m. bedtimes on a school night. But like, just like having that freedom, and we include them on big family decisions. If we want to go on a vacation, hey, what do you think about this?
Wow.
Just to have them have that freedom to say, I really just have no interest in going to Disneyland. Cool. Why? Share that. I want to know why you think this isn't for you. And one of the reasons was my oldest thought he was too old for it. I was like, there's adults that are Disney kids.
Yes, there are.
Just being able to have space for them, have them have their big feels, and express themselves in a healthy way. So they're not going out into the world and feeling like they have all this built up energy and frustration, and they're going to take it out on maybe another kid or act out in school or whatever it may be. They can come home and communicate that with us, and we can talk about it.
I love that. And you mentioned like not letting it out on another kid. Didn't your daughter just stop some bullying at school?
Yes.
Yeah, tell me about that.
So there was some word bullying going around at our school, and she had this whole presentation set up. She's like, Mom, you need to talk to her mom, and you need to get resolution for this. And if you don't do it, I have no problem talking to the principal about it. And I will get a group of us kids in my grade to handle the situation. I was like, let's start with the parent first. I appreciate your ambition. I appreciate your fight for the injustice of a fellow student, but let's start basic and then work our way up. We don't always have to go straight to the top. There's levels that we can work with. So, but just her passion and her, full belief that this is not right. And then feeling confident enough to go and even talk to the principal and administration and be like, this has to stop. That's really ambitious for a 10-year-old.
Yeah, because, and I don't want to generalize about kids, but thinking back on my own self as a child, I was bullied a lot. However, I could also be a bully. Yeah. And I remember like there was one girl when I first moved, my family moved quite a bit, and then districts changed. And so I had to move again to a different school because of the district change. And this was all in the first like 12 years of my life. Yeah. And I remember I started at an elementary school, and then there was this one girl named Angela, and she was like, new girl. And we became best friends. And then I heard from the rest of the school, don't play with Angela. Angela's gross. Oh. And me being the new kid who had been made fun of up until that point because I'm half Hawaiian, half white. Right. I was like, oh God, then no, I'm not going to play with Angela because I need the rest of the school to like me. And so I stopped being her friend. And that's mean. Yeah. And so I love that your daughter is standing up for this kid. And look at how young she is. Yeah. And that's just going to keep growing.
Absolutely. And going back into like, the breaking of chains and stopping like old behaviors, because I was bullied too. Being in a poverty level, going to school with very wealthy people. I wore the same clothes I did last year. I had the same backpack I had last year. Maybe I had secondhand clothes that didn't quite fit, but they were on sale, so we got them, So the bullying and the teasing were very strong with me, against me. And so I knew what that felt like. And so teaching my kids, hey, you see it, like, do your best to stop it.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be violent or anything like that, but there's other ways to stop bullying from happening. So giving her that courage and that power to be like, we're going to end this right now.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, if we had more kids like that.
I know.
That would be so incredible. Because that's all this world needs is just the bullying to stop. Mm-hmm. And when it does happen, people that are going to stand up for it.
Yeah.
And I did end up being someone who stood up to bullying a lot. Mm-hmm. I remember one instance, we were in junior high school. And for some reason, we were in the gym, sitting on the bleachers, probably some school assembly or something like that. And I was sitting next to my best friend, David, and some other kids. And then there were kids behind us. And these kids behind us started pushing David and like hitting him and calling him a bad word for being gay. Because back in the 80s and 90s, you used that word and they kept doing it. And finally, I stood up and I turned around and I was like, you need to knock it off. And I don't remember what else I said, but I was very adamant about stop making fun of my friend.
Yeah.
And little did any of us know, David was actually gay.
Yeah.
Well, it's still like, that doesn't matter.
Right. But still, standing up, like it doesn't disqualify you not standing up for someone being teased, even if he wasn't going to end up being gay.
Yeah.
That's still hurtful for him to experience that.
Yeah.
So, and even more so being gay. So, and to be called those nasty names at a young age,
At
too.
a young age.
We're so impressed in there's a word. Nope, it's gone.
Impressions?
Impressionable?
Impressionable.
There it goes. Mm-hmm. I'm like, I was on the right track. I just had to find it.
You started.
And then it ran away. So, but yeah. Because all of that will stick with you for your whole life.
Yeah, it will.
Mm-hmm.
There is one, same school, that it happened to me. Same fucking gymnasium. Mm-hmm. And it was after PE. And we were walking through the locker room doors, boys on one side, girls on the other. And the door was open, and as it was open, I remember I slid my hand like to hold the door, and I accidentally touched the girl in front of me's butt, and everybody started calling me a lesbian. I didn't want to go to PE anymore because girls in the locker room are super mean when they think that you're a lesbian.
Absolutely.
And like what I knew was that, so if this was junior high, that means they were in 8th grade, and I would have been... Or no, they were 9th grade. That was our schooling. 9th grade, and I was either 7th or 8th. And all I could thank God for was that they were going to graduate soon.
Yeah.
And leave the school. And I'll deal with it in high school. Mm-hmm. But yeah.
But getting through that year was probably
the
worst.
Absolutely. Because every time people saw me, oh, there's that girl. She touched so-and-so's butt. Might have been a cheerleader. I don't know. And it doesn't matter.
No.
It was an accident. My hand slipped.
Yep.
Yeah.
But junior high kids, they're so mean and ruthless to try to be that one-up kid, that popular kid of, I caught this thing happening. I called it out.
Yeah.
You see me.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's the culture that is junior high and even elementary and high school, like, and adults, I guess.
Adults.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I saw it first, so I'm going to call it out. Now I'm going to be the it thing.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. In business.
Oh.
There are so many bullies in business.
Oh, I'm sure.
Ooh. Yeah. I've had to deal with that, actually.
I'm sorry.
It's really mean.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you think, like, guys, we're not in high school anymore. We're not in junior high. We're not children.
No.
We're adults. And some people just never get out of that.
No.
And then, now I'm going to say, that makes you wonder, what have you gone through in your life to make you this person today? And why is there zero healing going on here?
Right.
And that makes me feel like we're some of the lucky ones who have chosen to do the healing.
Absolutely. There's family members that I have and even friends, they're still very much stuck in their pain and their suffering and what broke them. And instead of, walking through it to get to the other side of it, they're stuck with it. And they think that's all they're ever going to be.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so sad because you're on the other side going, come on, please. Just go through it. And then you can be so much better and so much happier and find that healing and that joy for yourself. It's not for anyone else. It's for you.
It is so much for you.
Yeah.
And yeah, it hurts to go through that healing, through that
100%.
therapy, all of that. It hurts.
Yeah. It's not an easy, pleasant, feel good kind of session. It's not like TV portrays it of like, oh, I'm going to go talk to somebody and I'm going to leave and the rainbows are going to happen and the butterflies and the chirping birds and I'm going to run into my love of my life just on the street. It's not how that works.
That does not happen.
That's not reality. Not even close.
And when someone on the street is yelling at you as if you're their future partner,
yeah,
for the most part, you're like, fuck you. No, get away from me.
Go. I have no time for you right now. Processing.
Yeah. I just got out of therapy. Let's leave me alone.
Yeah. Yeah. That's how you come out of therapy is you're absorbing all of the work you just did and like, did that really happen?
I know.
Am I really feeling these things right now? Did I have this epiphany of this one thing? Or this breakthrough of this other thing?
Mm-hmm.
And then you're just, you're not looking for the love of your life when you come out of therapy.
No.
Not even close. You're just like, give me like 3 to 5 business days, please. Then approach. Then maybe.
Mine's like, give me 10 to 12 years and then we'll talk.
Not done yet. Circle back. See some things.
Circle back.
Go live your life. Come back in 10 to 12.
We'll see where we're both at.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh my goodness. So, speaking of love of your life, how long have you and Terry been married?
16 years. Together for 21.
Wow. How'd you two meet?
At the Real Theater on Overland.
Seriously?
Seriously.
Oh my gosh. Was it like on Dollar Tuesday night? I used to go to those.
It might have been. Maybe a midnight showing because it was always $1 for a midnight showing.
Oh, I didn't know that. I only knew the Dollar Tuesdays.
So me and my sister would go to the theater and I ended up getting a McFlurry. Mm-hmm. And we're waiting for a movie to start. And then we see this group of guys next to this old classic car. And
Outside?
Uh-huh. And so we drove around and my sister and her friend were making cat calls and stuff. And then they jumped out of the car and started talking to these older guys. And so, me being the oldest going, whoa, whoa, whoa. Red flags everywhere.
Yeah.
These guys are in their 20s. You're 14.
Oh, girls.
I have some flags coming up.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Mama Bear's going to come out here in a minute. So they jumped out and we're talking and these guys were engaging with my sister and her friend. And so I went over and I was like, what's going on? I have no problem beating any of you up right now. Uh-huh. Leave my sister alone. Anyway, we ended up like hanging out and having fun. And I was like, who owns this car over here? Because I liked cars. Mm-hmm. And my husband was just like, oh, it's my car. And I was like, let's go fast. He's like, yeah. And I'm like how fast? Mm-hmm. And he's like, maybe I've broken a few speed limit laws. And I'm like, I don't believe you. So, but we were best friends for like 2 years his car was what broke the ice for us. So we were best friends for like 2.5 years before we started dating.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
I miss meeting people like that.
Right.
Like just in that manner.
Yeah, out in the wild.
Yeah.
In a movie theater parking lot, just hanging out, waiting for your movie to start. Mm-hmm. He ended up working at the hotel, at the movie theater with most of the guys.
Okay.
And so maybe I didn't pay for my movie tickets all the time. Go movie hopping, which is probably why they got fired when he was 19.
Oh.
I mean, young love. You do what you
do.
Oh,
yes.
So, but yeah, it was a lot of fun. Wow. And he still has the car right now. So.
Does he really?
Yep.
I'm sure you've gotten to ride in it.
Yes.
Have you gotten to drive it?
No, I won't ever drive that car. It's way too fast.
Oh, really?
Way too fast.
Oh.
I'm like, I will wrap it around a telephone pole. I know it.
Oh, damn.
So, but every pregnancy that I had, Terry would fire up the car, and the kids would engage. They would just sit there, and they weren't really active when I was pregnant. But he would fire up the car, and they would just somersault and kick and do all sorts of things. And then he turned it off, and then they stop.
Whoa.
And I'm like, I think our kids like fast cars too.
Wow.
So, yeah, our goal is to eventually rebuild it and then let the kids drive around in it and stuff. So.
Oh, so fun.
Yeah.
Is your oldest old enough to drive yet?
He's going to do driver's ed this year.
Oh, so, wow. How do you feel about that?
Really good. He's very, very black and white type A personality. So logic and reason is massively his thing. So if there's any sort of like real consequence, he won't do it. So like we took him to, there's a roller skating rink on State Street in Collister area.
Oh yeah, there is.
Anyway, we went there for a birthday party or whatever, and my oldest refused to participate. He's like, the case for injury is way too high.
To roller skate?
Yeah. I'm like, you're fine. And he's like, no, I'm going to get hurt. You know, it's not worth the risk. I ended up making him do it, and he had a blast.
Oh, good.
He sat there and he watched everybody's feet for like probably 40 minutes trying to figure out how to move your feet the right way so you didn't fall, and to go and to stop. And so he really like weighed the consequences and ended up having a blast and loved it. So that will roll over to driving for sure.
Absolutely. So. Driving in anything he tries, like it makes me think of, I've been golfing like 3 times in my life. And I've been told I'm actually kind of good at it. And the only reason why is I watch how everybody's doing it, and then you mimic.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So I bet he could step on a golf course if he wanted to and go get a hole in one several times.
Yeah, absolutely. Watching him grow and develop. He's actually in golf.
Oh, so, okay.
We were getting him fitted for clubs, and this guy was giving him some tips and tricks, and watching his brain take the tips and tricks and immediately apply it and then see the results. I'm like, oh, that's how your brain works? Wow. I wish mine did that. It's a lot of trial and error here. It does not immediately apply and get results. So watching his brain just be like, oh, yep, and then do it and then see the results. I'm like, wow, it's so fascinating.
That is awesome.
My brain does not do that, but seeing his brain do it is like, wow, that's amazing.
That is really
I love all of that for you.
Yeah.
Wish I had a tidbit of that, but maybe not so much.
That's okay. It takes all kinds in this world.
I know. I wouldn't have my journey if I didn't have the, let's try this one more time. A different result? No, still the same result. Okay. Maybe that's not for us. So, yeah.
I love that. I want to go back to the yoga teacher training.
Yes.
What philosophies of yoga have really stood out to you? Like what gets to your heart?
The 5 remembrances. And then the 8. Is it the Eightfold Path?
The Eightfold Path. Yep.
Those only because like I can apply that to my healing. Like I know, oh, that's what that is. You've done this. This is what it looks like in real life, not just words on a piece of paper. And then like seeing it in live action is completely fascinating.
Oh yeah.
Because then like I love history. I love psychology and how the brain works and stuff. And so to see something in a text or even old text and then have it apply in today's world and then see that and then the cause and effect from that is like probably like the most fascinating for me. It's like, wow, it does work.
Yeah.
If you actually do the steps, you can get the results that you're looking for. Yeah, I think those are like my favorite.
I love that. Yeah, what stands out to me right now actually is one of the things we just learned, which it was in conjunction with pranayama, because we did that, which for anyone listening, pranayama is life force and it's breath work. It's different types of breathing to ground yourself and bring yourself back to reality.
Yes.
I've had to do that a lot this week.
I'm sure.
Yeah. Whew, we're going to make it through. It's okay. It's okay.
doing the lion's breath.
Yes, the lion's breath and the shorter inhale, longer exhale is really, really helpful.
Yes.
Yeah, 4 in, 6 out. Because the only type of breathing I used to know was box breathing.
Yes.
Which is awesome and very helpful as well. But sometimes it doesn't get the job done.
Right.
And so that extended exhale is very helpful. But as we were learning that, we were also learning, and I can't remember the exact terms right now. I need to get better at that. But it was how you can kind of walk through different steps and realize that perhaps it's the misperception and all of that stuff, and recognizing that maybe this one interaction, is there a chance that you may have misperceived that?
Yes.
Or perceived that incorrectly, and then walk through the next step and then check yourself here. And then how about here? And you can apply that to every aspect of your life. And one of the ladies in our group, one of the questions she brought up was, what if there's not another person involved? Like, you can't go ask that person for forgiveness, for example.
Right.
And we all through working through that, you don't have to have that other person involved. This is your work.
Yeah. It's all for you. And that misperception and just changing the way you see things is game changing.
Yes.
Like, you think somebody is a one way towards you, and you switch it into a different way of like, oh, maybe they're going through something, and it really has nothing to do with me. Then it takes all of that stress and pressure off of you, and those hurt feelings that don't really belong to you. That's like my huge mantra for the last 9 months. Is like, it's not about me. It's something that you're going through, and it kind of helps you not get hurt as much.
Yeah.
You still feel your feels, of course, but it gives you a different perspective of like, you're not really mad at me. You're not really trying to hurt me, but you're going through something, and I can see that, and I can work with that, because if people are out hurting you and you take that and you internalize it, then you're like, oh my gosh, I'm the terrible person. I'm the problem. And then you put all of the stuff on you that isn't even yours. And then you're trying to navigate through a world with stuff that doesn't belong to you.
Yeah.
So that misperception is like, I mean, sometimes it is what it is, but most of the time it's, maybe that's not mine.
Yeah.
Maybe that's your stuff projecting onto me. And I don't have to have that.
Absolutely. And I think we can put that back on the bullying piece as well. When someone in adult lives, when someone bullies you, you can just be like, they're having a bad day.
Right.
And even if that bullying continues, like some of the business instances for me, that was not a 1 minute, 1 hour thing. That was years.
Yeah.
And even still, you can say, nope, that's not your fault. This is what this person is going through. This is what they need to be doing with their life right now, or what they feel that they need to do.
I think in our 2-year women's group, the thing was, thank you for showing me your pain.
Yeah.
Thank you for showing me your insecurity or your suffering, because now I know how to love you a different way.
We could even apply that to our parents.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's hard.
It's hard.
It's really hard. But it can be done. And I've done it in some aspects, but there's a lot of work left to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or maybe it just needs to be what it is.
Very true. Yeah. Some things you can't fix or change.
Right.
Some things are what they are.
Yep. You can look at it in different lights, and maybe it's just going to be that. And that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's okay. They've shown you their pain, their suffering.
Yep.
And you can do or not do with that as you will.
Yeah.
You don't have to pick it up. You don't have to receive it. Or you do. And then you got those things you got to deal with.
I love that. Mm-hmm. When you see this happening, so we talked about what your daughter did when she saw bullying happening. When you see this as a teacher at a school, what do you teach the kids, or how do you teach them if you get involved at all? Or do you say, nope, kids need to work through this themselves? Like, because again, no kids here. So how do you do that?
It's a tough navigation because there's so many red tapes with being in the school. So just really like showing up for a kid. Like we had one student a couple of years ago, and he was from a different country and saw some really awful stuff. I can only imagine.
Geez.
I don't know all of his story, but it was apparent in his behavior that he has seen some stuff. And he had a lot of anger because he didn't know what else to do. He didn't know what else to feel. And, being a small child, you have no idea why you feel things that you feel inside your body, but you have them, those big feels. And just showing up in a loving way. Like, you don't have to do this. I know you have anger or sadness or fear or stress, maybe embarrassment, whatever that emotion is. Like, I see that, I feel that for you. But you don't have to act out in this big way. Let me show up in a different way for you. So I go in with love. I go in with compassion and understanding. And a lot of the kids, like, they're missing that component. They're missing being heard. They're missing being validated for their emotions. They're missing love and understanding. So I just try really hard to give and create that culture in my classroom of, we're going to be here. We're going to be safe. Everyone has thoughts and opinions. Maybe not all thoughts and opinions need to be said out loud. And you don't know what somebody else is going through. So cyberbullying is something that one of the topics I teach about.
Oh, wow.
And a lot of kids have no concept of it. Like second, third, fourth, they don't have an exposure to that yet.
Okay, good.
Thank goodness.
Yeah.
Fifth grade, they're going into middle school the next year. So and then most families give them a cell phone at that point, right? And maybe they get access to social media, however way they get it. So giving them the understanding of, even if they're playing video games, if you won't say it to somebody's face, then it probably doesn't need to be typed. Is my huge thing that I talk about. Like, if you're not going to go out, then an example I use is, would you go out to someone on the playground and say you're fat and you're ugly and nobody loves you? They're like, no, you would never say that. That's rude. I was like, would you type that in a group chat? And they're like, yeah, absolutely. I'm like, what's the difference?
What is the difference?
What is the difference? You're still hurting somebody's feelings. You're still saying mean, nasty things to somebody. And then I love, because there's visual. There's all types of learning. So I use the words. I instill with the emotion of those words. And then I grab a piece of paper and a pen and I stab holes in the paper. For every mean thing I say, I poke a hole. And then I write sorry. And I'm like, is the paper whole? And they're like, no. And I'm like, the words still hurt even if you say sorry. Now, what if you say sorry and you say it again and again? And you keep saying sorry because you are sorry in that moment, but you're still going to act that same way. Are you genuinely really sorry? And they're like, no. So really giving that like understanding and that love and that compassion and that safe space of like, you can talk about uncomfortable things and mean things. And then I see some kids, in some kids' eyes, they have that like, oh, that's happened to me already.
Oh, boy.
And I obviously don't point them out. Like, oh, you felt that?
Yeah.
Hey, Jill over there, did you see that? Did you feel that? Has that happened to you? Like, I don't call them out, but I really make sure that if I see that in their eyes, to really hone in and be like, but you're still loved, you're still valued, you're still important on this earth, and really just trying to like give them that like safe space of like, in this classroom, we don't do that. And I won't tolerate it. In the school, we will absolutely not tolerate it. it's happened. My lessons have actually helped because other students have gone to different teachers and, oh, this happened to me online. And then we ended up going through and stopping the bullying or,
Wow.
Just stopping the hate.
Mm-hmm.
Online hate is so unnecessary and it's so detrimental to everybody. It doesn't matter your age. It will hurt no matter what.
Because that's happened to me.
Oh.
As an adult.
Oh, no.
Mm-hmm. My ex-husband.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah. And yeah, the things that he said about me, everybody read that. And
everybody. And then,
I couldn't defend myself in that moment.
No. And then those people that have read it now have that opinion about you.
Yep. Lost a lot of friends.
I'm sure.
Because they chose not to come ask the other side of the story.
Yeah.
And that's another piece of the bullying.
It's a huge piece. Yeah. You got to get both sides of the story.
Yeah.
So, and then in like tandem with that lesson, I talk about how if somebody was doing that to somebody, one of your friends, like if you're in a group setting of 3, person 1 is being mean to person 2, what do you do as person 3? So going back to, your friend David, and I'm like, are you going to defend that person? Are you going to say, hey, we don't do that here. If you act like that, we're going to go ahead and boot you. Or on the playground, hey, we're going to go get an adult.
Yeah.
Because this isn't okay. So everyone's showing compassion for everybody because it's the right thing to do. And I'm really, really optimistic that it'll help the next generation not be so mean online like the adults are today.
Yeah. I bet you are. You're building something. You and
I hope so.
The other teachers at your school and your school itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope so. Because it's got to stop. It's getting wild out there.
Oh my goodness. Well, and you probably know these statistics better than I do, but I had the opportunity to interview the principal of, not Taft, the one kind of downtown. Shoot, I can't remember what school it is, but I got to interview the principal. We were creating a video to help them keep their Title I status.
Mm-hmm.
And she told me that just in that year alone, they had already lost a few students to suicide. And it's getting worse.
Yeah.
Are you seeing it at your school?
Not suicide at our school.
Mm-hmm.
Our school is really small compared to all the schools in our district. We only have 200-something kids.
Mm-hmm.
And all of our kids know they're loved and valued.
Oh, that's so beautiful.
They all have a connection with some sort of staff member.
Good.
They have safe place. A lot of our kids, our school is the only place they'll get breakfast and lunch every day.
Wow.
But they know that they're loved and they have value. So in our school, not so much for that, but I am aware that in our valley, it's very, very increasingly high numbers happening. And it's so sad.
It is. Because these are babies.
Yeah, they're just babies.
Yeah.
All the way up to 18, 19, 20, you're still just a baby.
Yeah. There's so much more out there to experience. As someone who has attempted to take her own life a few times, there's life out there. There's a lot of life out there.
Yeah. There's so much joy and so much happiness. You just gotta find that perspective and flip that narrative a little bit to find your joy.
Yeah.
Whatever it may be. You got out of bed that day. You brush your teeth. Congratulations. That's a huge step for some people.
Yes, it is.
Getting out of the house and going for a walk. Amazing. Just small little daily steps are huge for anyone in that position. So being able to help at least a small group of kids know how to love another and see them in their pain it's huge for me. I love when I teach that lesson because I'm like, you're going to see it. You're going to feel it and believe that you never know. You don't know what anyone else is going through. I'm not going to tell you everything that's going on in my life, and I don't expect you to do the same for me. So how do I know that you haven't been told you're ugly 7 times today?
Yeah.
And then I add the last one, and then that causes you to do something terrible. Like, you never know what someone else is going through.
Not a clue.
No.
Because,
So,
like you said, most of the time, people aren't going to tell you.
no.
What drew you to that line of work, to being a teacher and teaching these lessons?
It kind of just fell in my lap, actually.
Uh-huh.
It was not intended. The principal had asked me a year prior, Mallory, we need you to come work. We really need you to be the computer teacher. I was like, no, I'm sorry, I can't. I had life situations that just didn't allow me to get, a job right away. And finally, it happened. And she asked, and I said, sure. I actually applied for the secretary job.
Oh.
And she's like, no, you're going to do this job. And I'm like, I see what you did there. And it's been great. I love it. I even considered getting certified to be an actual teacher. But I'm not I can't be a box teacher. I need the fluidity to do my own thing. So hence yoga teacher training.
Yeah.
I need that fluid. I need to have that freedom to be myself and not have all of this red tape keeping me in a box. I need to be an octagon some days. I need to be triangular.
Yeah.
Just be different shapes and different assist different people. So
I love that about you.
Thank you.
Well, because every time you've taught our test classes, basically, because we all, every weekend now, we're teaching each other something. Every time you do, I'm like, damn, that was good.
Oh. Needless to say, I'm terrified up there, but I'm just like, I have to remind myself, if I can teach 5th grade anything, adults are just the same.
Oh, yeah.
They're fine.
Oh, yeah. Well, and it comes back to that piece of you're the teacher.
Right.
So think about not us as your fellow classmates, but anybody else walking and they're like, well, the teacher knows what we're supposed to do. Or we're supposed to sit here and meditate for an hour. Great.
Perfect. I will sit with all of my thoughts and feel uncomfortable.
Because everybody else in this room is too.
Right. Kind of the same as teaching in a classroom, you have to listen to me lecture you. I'm sorry, that's not what you want to do, but this is what it is.
This is what it is.
I have to teach you this. I'm so sorry. You have to know.
You have to know how to type.
Yeah, you have to know how to do all the hard stuff. So, yeah. I love it.
I can tell. Yeah. I can really tell. What experience most shaped the person you are today?
Ooh. I don't know if it was just one experience. Because I had to go through a lot to get to where I'm at. But knowing, it was so weird because all of the terrible that I went through, I knew the whole time in the back of my head, it was for a bigger purpose. Mm. So you're going to go through this terrible time because it's going to have some other big play later on in life. You're not going to know what that is. And now I'm seeing it kind of in its full entirety now with Girls on the Mat. Mm. I had to go through and experience what I had to experience so I can help show other girls that they can go through it and come out stronger and way more confident, way more ready to take on the world. I can have a daughter that's going to do amazing things in the world because I've given her that freedom and that confidence to be what I couldn't be. So I think I just really had to go through it all. A little bit of everything, honestly. Mm. I had to experience a little of everything. So
I'd say you're a pretty damn good person.
Oh, thank you. And my mirror. You are too. As my mirror.
Tell me about an experience that changed how you show up for others.
Ooh. I think not being shown up for has helped me to show up for other people because I know what it's like to be let down, to not have someone in my corner, to not have that support behind me for so many different aspects of my life. I know what that negative side of it feels like, and I never want somebody else to feel that way. So I will always show up. May not agree with everything you're doing, but I'm going to be there, and I'll be in your corner, and I'll listen to all of your woes, and then I will tell you how you could do better, or how the system failed you and it wasn't your fault, or whatever the aspect needs to be. But I'll stand in the corner for anyone. I will always be there.
Yes.
Yeah.
I feel similarly as well. As I don't want people to experience what I've experienced.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, unless they need it to learn any of their own lessons, but there are just some things where you're like, I don't want you to have to go through that.
No.
I already went through it. So
Yeah.
let me try to help soften this or pave the way or do what I can so that you have a better chance at not going through that.
Right. I think I do that with my kids too.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of cliche and ridiculous, but my kids will always have a new backpack and a new pair of shoes for every school year.
Oh.
Because I know what that feels like,
Mm-hmm.
right? I know the shame that carries. And I've done such a good job to keep that to myself that my older two are like, Mom, my backpack's fine. I'm just going to use it again. I'm like, are you sure? And I have like all this like internal trauma inside of my body. And I'm like, are you sure? I will go do it. I don't care. I'll get you a new backpack. And they're like, Mom, it's fine. It's a backpack. Like, okay, you're right. This is me. This is my stuff. Sorry. Oh, not right here. And they're like, it's a backpack, Mom. And they just walk away like they have no idea.
Mm-mm.
But I'm like, there are children that have that fear if they even get a backpack at all.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually remember because we had to go to not just the secondhand stores, but every once in a while there would be like this, not a bus, but it was like this room basically that was pulled by a big truck.
Mm-hmm.
And they would park at the school parking lot. And those of us kids who didn't have much money, we got to go in and pick out clothes for free.
Right.
And I remember I found this super cute skirt. What school was that? I think that might have been 3rd or 4th grade. So also very new to the United States, the mainland of the United States. And I found this super cute skirt, and I decided that's what I wanted from this free clothing thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I wore it to school, and I got made fun of because it was a girl from the school skirt.
Oh.
Yeah. And she gave it away,
Mm.
or her mom made her or something like that. And here I come bouncing in with this cute little skirt and
thinking you're just this baddie.
Yeah.
Someone knocks you down.
Yep.
Oh.
Because it was the other girl's skirt.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's hard.
It is so hard.
And embarrassing as a kid.
Very much so.
Yeah.
Yeah. We there's a program similar that the kids at our school get to do twice a year, one for winter, one for spring. And they come back with these big bags. And when they come in, the whole staff celebrates, oh, you got some cool stuff. And we just hype it up and make it not a shameful thing, you know, or if they have to go to the counselor to get some new shoes or socks or deodorant or anything. I'm so glad that you were able to do that. And we have that program available for you. Like, it's such a hyped up thing that they don't feel the shame. They don't feel embarrassed for going and asking. They get excited that they were given that opportunity to go. So I think our school and our staff is pretty good about hyping kids up for getting less than, because we are a title school. So we have a lot of those, you know, lower income families, and being able to have programs available even now is a huge win, you know.
That is so great. Do you have your own, because I know that there are community schools. I've gotten to travel them with the work that I do, like for United Way of Treasure Valley especially. I get to go out to some of these schools. And the community schools, they have their own food pantry. They have their own clothing area, shoes, all that stuff. Does your school have that for the students?
We have a closet.
Oh yeah, a closet.
But the school that my boys go to, they have it. It's a whole room, and they're able to go in, and parents are able to donate to it. Feminine hygiene products, whatever you need, like, it's in there. And so I think it's amazing that schools are now having that.
Yes.
Because there's no shame in it. You're a child. You're not what your parents can't provide for you. You're still a human. You're still you still deserve some of those basic needs. So
Yeah, you do. You deserve to be clothed.
yeah.
You deserve to smell good.
Yep, absolutely.
And your classmates deserve to have you smell good.
Yes. The BO is so real.
Oh, God. I don't even remember. I was somewhere recently. It must have been at a school shoot for something. But some kid ran past me and I'm like, oh, no.
Yeah, the puberty BO there's a whole, should be a whole different fragrance for that type of smell. But I'm really grateful that there's no shame for that, and that they're able to go in and get what they need.
Yes.
Because maybe they forgot.
Maybe they forgot. Maybe their parents don't know that this is something you need to do.
Yeah. Or they didn't tell their parents. I ran out. Because that teenage brain in that prepubescent brain is not there. And the forgetfulness is real. I have to go and hound my kids. I need you to do inventory right now. I need eyes right now on it. Do you have deodorant?
Or they could have grown up like me where I had to start working when I was probably 9 or 10, babysitting, but still, and I had to go make money. And as soon as I was making money, I had to go buy my own deodorant.
Oh, wow.
And sometimes that's not what you want to spend money on.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes you want the candy or to go to a show or whatever and be a child.
Be a child. Maybe you think you're going to save it to go to college or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, there's all sorts of flavors and different reasons for needing them.
Yeah.
I was similar too, so. But.
Well, of course you were.
I know. The mirror. Yeah. So.
How old were you when you first started working / I assume babysitting?
I think I was earning money. I think I was probably 11 or 12. Watching my siblings, that was way early.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So, and that was, you got a roof over your head and you got water and you got food in the pantry. And I'm like, okay. I guess so. Not really, solid things that a child wants to hear, but.
No, they don't. They want to feel provided for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I was a very sought after babysitter, so.
Oh.
I was, and I got paid really good money, and I maybe ruffled some family feathers with some family members and of the people I babysat for because I got paid more than their nieces or nephews got paid. And they're like, but why? She's not family. Because she does a good job.
She actually watches the children.
She plays with them. My house is clean. Food is ready when I come home.
Wow.
Because I had all those lessons growing up that I knew how to cook dinner. I knew how to do dishes. So this is just what you do. And I got paid for that. So then I was really, really feeling my stuff at that point.
Did you enjoy babysitting?
I did.
I hated it.
I enjoyed the end result, which was a financial benefit. Yes. I got to go do the things I wanted to do with my money when it wasn't taken or whatever. So okay, I'm going to go have fun. Go to the dollar movie and meet my future husband.
Yeah.
In not a setting I thought I would meet him in. So, yeah. Just fun things.
Yeah. Did you ever read The Babysitter's Club?
Yes.
I did too. I tried to do that. Like how they, had the group, the club, and this is how they made money and all that. I attempted that and it never worked out. But I did enjoy the books.
Yes. And Boxcar Children. Did you ever read that one?
No, I did Nancy Drew. I think I may have read one Boxcar Children, but mine was Nancy Drew.
Fair.
Yeah.
I see that for you. That checks out. I see you as a little Nancy Drew.
Oh, I used to pretend to be her.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah. Like in the school playground, I would go play by myself. Yep. I had the whole thing set up. I had a house. I was solving mysteries. I was fine. I did not need friends. And then the teacher told these girls, go make Stephanie be your friend.
Oh.
And they were nice enough, but I wanted to play. They weren't Nancy Drew, damn it. I was playing by myself and I was a perfectly happy person.
Right.
And you know why? Because I had to deal with people every other aspect of my life.
Yep.
Leave me alone on the playground.
Yeah. Give me my peace and solitude. Sometimes kids just want to be Nancy Drew and solve their mysteries that they created in their own head.
Exactly.
And now you're doing this.
Now I'm doing this.
Now you get to live action role play your Nancy
Yes.
Drew. Create.
Solving mysteries.
What can I videotape now? What mysteries shall I uncover in this podcast?
Oh, I never thought of it that way. I love that. Because we can uncover so many mysteries.
Oh, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
Just like dive into people like, hey,
Mm-hmm.
a little bit more?
A little bit more.
Little? No?
So with that, tell me,
Yeah.
you scuba dive.
I do.
What the hell? I want to. I've never taken lessons or anything.
Mm-hmm.
Why, how, what got you into that? And then the experience. All of it. Tell me.
All
Go.
of it. So my dive buddy, she started, I think, right before COVID. Yeah, she started right before COVID hit. And she was in the process of divorce and all that. So she was really like trying to refine herself, I think. And she always had a love for the water and diving. And so she was going through that, and it just didn't fit in my time frame because she really wanted me to join and do it with her. But it just financially, it wasn't in the books. And having young kids at home, I was like, no, I got to be here for my babies. And so she went off and did it. And I got to see all of her stuff and her photos and stuff. And then I went and did a trial thing, and I jumped in the pool, and I came out, and my adrenaline was going so hard. I was like, yes, I need this in my life all the time. And so Mother's Day 4 years ago, I went and got certified. And in the Utah-Nevada border, there's some hot spring water.
Ooh.
Natural, I don't know. It's blackish water, so it with the elevation and everything, it goes for saltwater and freshwater certification.
Huh.
And so I went and did that with Dive Magic, got certified, and 6 months later, I went on my first dive trip to Cozumel, and that was a whole experience. I experienced new things in so many different aspects of my life. And then my dive buddy, she's certified to take groups out to go diving and stuff. She's not like a master diver or anything, but she has the qualifications to go. And I gave her a run for her money, and she's like, well, that was new for me. And I was like, cool. So I got stuck in a current, and I was a tornado through all this coral, and I couldn't get out. And I was like, I thought I was done. And so my dive buddy looked at the dive master and was like, you need to go get her. I don't know what to do. And so he went and he pulled me down, and I was like, I'm done. I'm back to the boat. Like, I was overstimulated. I was scared. And he's like, no, you're not done. And he would not let me be done. And he grabbed my hand. He was like this short little, his name's Francisco, and he's a short little old man, probably 75, 80. My dive buddy took a picture of it. He held my hand and took me through the coral and helped me calm down and feel safe enough to continue the dive.
Wow.
So he wouldn't let me quit. But when we were done, my dive buddy was just like, so that was new. Never want to experience that again with my dive buddy. I was like, cool. Glad I can teach you something new. She's like, I didn't know what to do. You were caught in the current. Because like when you're diving, you're supposed to be, flat. And I ended up going vertical. And the current just took me and literally tornadoing. I could not stop. I had no idea where I was at. I was so disoriented.
Did you get motion sick?
No.
I get motion sick like at the drop of a hat, though.
I took medicine before I went on the dive for motion because of the boat ride.
Oh.
And so I was fine, but I was really shooken up about it. And then we did shore diving from our hotel that we were staying at. And one day it was raining, and as it does in the coastal areas, and it was raining, and everyone's like, "Oh no, it's raining! You can't go in the water." I'm like, "Cause we're gonna get wet." Like, what? So anyway, I jumped in, and that was probably like my most magical favorite moment, because I ended up like flipping upside down and seeing the rain hit the ocean, and just watching it, and then hearing all of the water sounds. It's like I just kind of like laid there and was like in a Zen mode. I was like, this is my meditative state. When I need to
Yes.
just like shut my brain off, this is what I'm going to remember.
Yes.
So,
I remember that stuff as a kid growing up in Hawaii.
mhm.
It wasn't scuba diving, but you're out there with your snorkel gear
Yeah.
and sometimes it rains while you're swimming.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's such an experience that it's hard to explain, but seeing that rain hit the water above you,
hmm
like
It's different than looking
it is
on top.
so different because it's coming in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is so mesmerizing. It's so
Yeah.
peaceful.
Mhm. Well, and the feeling too, I don't know if you were in a wetsuit or anything, but as kids in Hawaii, you're in your bathing suit.
Yeah.
But you can feel the difference too. Like the water is one temperature and then you come out of it and the rain is a different temperature. And did you get to experience that at all?
I didn't have a wet. I mean, I think it was just a swimsuit. Oh no, I had it was like a swimsuit, but it was a whole body. Because it was around Halloween time, so it's a skeleton.
Oh, how fun.
I have fun with my outfits.
I love that.
So I was wearing my skeleton outfit, and so, but I could still feel it because it was like a bathing suit. So
yeah.
And all the fish were just like doing their little fishy things in the rain. They weren't even phased.
No, they're not.
But I think like, so people go night diving, right? Or sunset diving, which is fine. It's beautiful. And I did that. But I think my favorite was waking up at 5 a.m. and doing a sunrise dive. So it's dark. All the predatory animals are going to find their bed. I followed this octopus. And in my head, I make stories up because what else are you going to do when you're in the water? So every fish I saw had a whole story. And I played it out with them as I followed them around. But this one octopus was trying to get away from us to go to bed. And we were following him around with our flashlight. And I can't even remember the whole story, but I know it was funny. Narration and everything was on point. So, but he's like doing all of his, color changing things, and he'd get really red. I'm like, oh, you're so mad. He just wants to go to sleep.
He just wants to go to sleep.
But then like seeing like the parrotfish and everything waking up and coming out of their sleeps, that was really awesome. I think sunrise diving was my favorite.
Okay. If I ever get my certificate, I shouldn't say if. The plan is to someday get it. Once I get it, I will definitely make sure I do a sunrise. Have you seen My Octopus Friend, the documentary?
No, I haven't watched it. I've heard so many amazing things about it, though.
Mallory, yeah. I don't do animal movies. I just, because it hurts too much.
Fair.
This one we can do. Like if you're like me in that manner, you can definitely do this one.
Awesome.
And I think you should.
Yeah.
Yeah. Really
I've heard
great
so
film.
many really good things about it. It just, when you have kids, it's kid shows that you watch.
That's true. That's true. They could get something out of it too.
They could.
Yeah.
I bet my daughter would absolutely love it.
She would.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And it's made by a filmmaker. So coming from the filmmaking side of it, it's very well done.
Yay.
Yeah. Really, really good storytelling.
Yeah. It hurts my heart. We went to Mexico for a summer vacation with friends, and I saw people hunting the octopus in the tide pools, and it broke my heart. I'm like, I can't watch them. They're hurting my heart.
I grew up hunting octopus.
So you're very familiar with this.
I am very familiar with that. Yep. I can see things that I don't ever want anybody else to have to see.
Yeah.
But people do because that's what
it's their
you
culture,
do.
and it's their way of finding food and getting money. And
and it is, absolutely. It's our culture. We call it squidding in Hawaii instead of octopusing.
Right.
It's called squidding, but I would go out with my dad and we would go spear hunting for octopus. And, people now here in Idaho, I make the joke of, you guys may have grown up hunting caribou or elk or something. I grew up hunting octopus.
Yeah.
I don't eat it anymore. I used to because it's not necessarily a staple. But it's quite frequently eaten in Hawaii and in our culture, and I don't eat it anymore.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
You're just
They're
like,
so
no,
smart.
they are so smart.
Too smart. Yeah.
But they're fascinating creatures.
Oh,
I love them.
Oh, they are. Yeah, the way, because I remember, as you're hunting, you have to find where they live and find their spot. And they hide. They change the colors. They do all the things. And yeah, you should watch that movie. It is not about hunting octopus.
Yay.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
Yes.
We'll get away from that subject now.
Okay. Like the sadness is over.
Yeah. Okay, final question.
Sure.
When everything external falls away, like your labels, your titles, all that stuff, who are you at your core?
Ooh. I think fully understanding that is still a work in the progress.
Mm-hmm.
You probably would have a better stab at the dark than I would. I think really if I take everything away, I'm really just a loving, caring person. Mm-hmm. I put love before anything. It's like my main drive for anything is to show somebody love and compassion and just being like a mom for everyone, I guess. Just showing up in a way that maybe wasn't shown up for me. So.
I can feel that.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you finally open up. I did not feel that at first. When I first met you, I was like, she doesn't want to participate. Okay. But there's something about her. I'm going to get there.
Yeah, vice versa. I was like, this one, she's a tough cookie to crack. I'm sure of it. And then he started opening up. I'm like, oh. And then like as we were opening up and sharing, I was like, you and I are like jamming out and then look over at everyone else and they're like horrified. And we're like, oh, that's not normal?
Oh, you didn't go through that when you were a kid?
Not everyone went through that. That's okay. We're just going to be on an island over here.
Yeah.
Have our this was fun. This is what everyone did.
Yeah. I mean, look at us now.
Right. And they're like horrified. Oh, gosh. Poor women's group.
I know. We scared them.
We did a little bit, just a little bit. So, yeah.
It was good for all of us.
It was good for everyone. It gave everyone a good perspective change and mindset change for sure.
Yeah, because I learned a ton from all of those ladies.
Absolutely.
And from you, of course. But with our stories being what they are together and then so different from everyone else's stories and yet similar in some ways, I learned so much from those ladies.
100%.
Yeah.
Those 2 years were probably big staples for sure.
Yeah.
Equal to scuba diving and doing all the crazy wild things that I've done.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, we're going to go scuba diving together sometime.
Let's do it.
Let's
do it.
And we'll teach yoga.
Yes.
That's right, because that's what your plan is anyway.
On my vision board is mommy-daughter yoga time and pair that with mommy-daughter scuba time.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Can I come without a daughter?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I will not shame you.
Thank you.
There's no shame. You're joining us. You're a pretend daughter.
I'm an auntie.
You are an auntie.
Maybe a couple of my nieces might want to go.
Absolutely.
Oh, yes.
At least build sandcastles.
Yeah.
And we'll go diving.
Oh, my gosh.
I'm going to get my daughter certified so she can come too.
What's the youngest age?
I think it's
put
10.
This in my kids' ears. 10?
I think it's 10.
Okay. I'm going to put that bug in my sister-in-law's ear and be like, hey, Auntie wants to take her nieces scuba diving someday. I think we need to talk about this.
Yeah. You can do a bubble maker, but they can't like dive until I think they're 10.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so excited.
It's going to be so much fun.
I love those kids.
Yes. Proud auntie moment.
Proud auntie moment.
Absolutely.
We'll get there and I'll be like, oh, these kids.
Yeah. You're like, why did I sign up for this?
Where's their mother? Oh, right. They're not here. It's just me.
My daughter will just take them away. Scoop them up.
Oh, good.
Let's go do something. The adults need some adult time.
Yes. And adult beverages to deal with this.
Yes. We'll sip on ours and they'll sip on their virgin pina coladas and feel like all the bougie.
Oh, totally.
Yes.
Oh, and my nieces are very bougie.
Oh, love it.
Well, thank you so much for being on this podcast with me.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Love it.
I love diving into conversation with you. Absolutely love it. This has been fantastic.
Yes.
I'll have you back.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I'll come back.
Okay.
Yes.
And I'll see you.
2 weeks?
Yeah.
Oh, no, Friday.
Oh, yeah, Friday. I'll see you. Yes. I did go yesterday. It's Saturday.
Yes.
I did go yesterday. I managed to go. I left Frodo here. I'm sure he barked. And then next week, everybody will be at home. So I can definitely go on Friday.
Awesome. Yes.
There was that big worry that I wouldn't make it out, but I made it.
Yay. It'll be good.
It will be. Okay. I love you.
Love you too.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And thank you all for listening and watching. And we will be back again.